Red Bull hired a psychologist to help problem child Tsunoda from public outbursts to rants on team radio and crashes. Tsunoda is the new rage kid on the F1 block. During his rookie season in Formula 1, Yuki Tsunoda became known for occasionally losing his cool over the team radio. Welcome to F1 Freaks. Today, we'll talk about Tsunoda's control of his emotions and Red Bull's intervention in helping him keep it in check. Driving in the F1 takes a lot of strength, mental strength inclusive. It takes a toll on some drivers, and it's common to hear drivers raging on the team radio. In recent years, more F1 drivers have opened up about the benefits of consulting sports psychologists and mental coaches, with Mercedes' George Russell and McLaren's Lando Norris being particularly outspoken about the sport's mental health challenges. Tsunoda made his F1 debut with AlphaTauri in 2021, replacing Daniil Kvyat at the team. He went off to a great start, scoring points in Bahrain, but struggled in quite a few races thereafter. During these struggles, we saw a pattern develop that confirmed Tsunoda's frustration behind the wheel. The AlphaTauri driver became known for occasionally losing his cool whilst behind the wheel in his 2021 rookie season, resulting in some expletive-filled comments to his engineers. In 2021, having been dumped out of the Spanish Grand Prix and left with no explanation as to why he was lacking pace, Tsunoda went on to suggest that the characteristics of his AlphaTauri AT02 car seemed different to those of Gasly's across the garage, who managed to qualify 12th in Spain. He pointed out that the feedback he was giving about the car was not the same as Gasly's, leaving him with doubts about whether they were running identical cars. "It's always different feedback compared to my teammate, even when we tried the opposite," Tsunoda told television reporters. "I have a little bit question mark if it is the same car. Of course, it's the same car, but just the character of the car is just too different. Maybe, of course, it's a different driving style. But yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what happened. Why I'm struggling this much." Oops. We don't think he needed anyone to tell him that he goofed with those statements. A few hours later, Tsunoda took to social media to apologize for what he had said. "I wanted to apologize for my comments today," he wrote. "I didn't mean to criticize the team, who have done a great job all weekend. I was just frustrated with my performance. Full send tomorrow." Written in Japanese, Tsunoda suggested that the key to improved performance was working more with the team to better understand why things were not working out. "I feel that we still need to deepen our understanding of the car," he said. "I would like to proceed with the data analysis with the team and seek a better setup." Team boss Franz Tost previously stated that he would ask Tsunoda not to do this, as he felt it had the potential to hurt both the driver and the team. The Japanese driver seems to have developed more consistency so far in 2022. He has scored points in 2 out of the 3 races he's competed in, having been unable to take part in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix due to a mechanical issue. Tsunoda has since accepted his outburst and has been working on it. Tsunoda scored points at this year's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix with a P7 finish, on a weekend that he suffered a crash at just 12 months earlier, and he believes that this highlights the progression he has made. "I think I'm much more controlled, I would say, compared to last year," Tsunoda told the media. "Same time here last year, I was not fully in control. I didn't know what I was doing, and every lap I was just pushing through the limit, and that's when things happen. But actually, that makes me improve also. That was really good learning as a driver. After that, I went into a bad loop, but that makes good learning as well as a driver. I was able to take the next step, and that's why I was able to score points today. I think, compared to last year, it's a massive step, especially in the race pace," he added. This development has also affected Tsunoda's approach to what he shares over the team radio, with the driver feeling that he has become calmer in 2022. "I would say, on the radio, maybe I'm still shouting, but I'm just not pressing the radio button as much," he explained. "This is a massive step compared to last year. Still, I think I can try to be more calm. I realized that there was no point to shout in the radio. It's better to tell the limitations specifically with a calm voice and to go to the next step, so I think this was good." While Tsunoda has shown some improvement during a sophomore year in which his team has found it harder to keep up with the midfield rivals, the Japanese driver continued his trademark aggressive style, both in terms of driving and his expletive-laden radio messages. In the British Grand Prix, Tsunoda fumed after a collision with teammate Pierre Gasly, but after he was hit with a time penalty and 2 penalty points, he had to admit blame for the incident. As a result of the contact, Gasly eventually had to retire with rear wing damage, while Tsunoda was 14th and last of the finishers. The clash also affected Red Bull's Max Verstappen, as Tsunoda's end plate was ripped off and ended up lodged in the Dutchman's floor, severely hurting his car's performance. Tsunoda has since moved on from the incident. According to him, the incident was discussed internally, so both drivers can now move forward to the second part of the double-header in Spielberg. In his words, "I am glad that we can go racing again after just a few days to put the Silverstone race behind us," he commented ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. "I couldn't do anything about the collision after the start, and later, unfortunately, I had the incident with Pierre. We discussed it as a team, and now we move forward." Speaking to Service TV, Red Bull mentor Marco revealed the outfit had employed a psychologist to assist what he called his problem child, to help control Tsunoda's fiery temper behind the wheel, which according to the Austrian is costing him performance. "We have organised a kind of psychologist to work with him because he continued to rant in the corners, so that inhibits performance," Marco said. Marco believes Tsunoda could learn from world champion Verstappen, who could get equally sweary on the team radio but doesn't let his emotions distract from his driving. "We should keep our emotions in check. Thank God Max is calm. Our problem child in this respect, not only in this respect, is Tsunoda. He explodes on the radio, you wouldn't believe it. We can say he does seem to have made a step forward in 2022 compared to his rookie season in 2021. But Marco says there are still more gains to be made. I guess Tsunoda still has a long way to go in keeping his emotions in check, and his psychologist, whoever it is, has their work cut out for him." According to the 79-year-old Austrian, the drivers currently receive too much technical information, which makes racing too easy. Marco is a fan of the idea of limiting radio traffic between drivers and engineers. Because the engineer can give very concise information to the driver, Marco thinks it is starting to look too much like a driving school. He suggested that drivers should not receive this kind of information during race conditions, as it aids them and removes an element of independence while driving. "You could limit it, that it only goes in one direction, that you only leave the driver on, but he doesn't get any technical support," Marco said, as quoted by Motorsport Total. Citing an example, he said, "So Lewis Hamilton, who has his hand on the radio, gets told, 'You lose 5 meters in turn 10 on braking, and in turn 3, the other driver goes in a bit slower but comes out better.' So a driver gets all this information, and that makes it easier for him. We all know that F1 drivers do vent their anger or resentment on the team radio. But for a rookie driver to do this as frequently as Tsunoda, it was surprising." This did lead to many people questioning the 21-year-old's attitude. Some felt he was being too rude and needed to tone it down. Others emphasized with his frustration and understood why he was behaving that way. Franz Tost also understands that sometimes it can be hard for drivers to contain their frustration. He thinks the anger is not always bad, and that drivers need to show aggression from time to time if they want to be successful. After all, they are full of adrenaline in a sport like Formula 1. While his performance has improved and he's finding his feet, nevertheless, Tsunoda will have to keep working on his anger. We can only hope whatever the psychologist is doing works. This brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click on the bell for notifications.